They marched last night. Yeah, no, I see the video. Like for Halloween, it was a Halloween party. After they beat us on the second.
Everything's like this on my teacher that I had court today, and I
October 12th.
The yellow paper, they couldn't, usually when you lose the yellow paper, room 101 gives it to you, right?
I don't have
When you like perfect attendance.
Andrew, just get my phone real quick.
Babies usually like that.
Oh, I have to get my transcript in school so I can say that's what
He does it with all the
Down.
No.
The redhead. Friday love her.
No, usually babies
Organization. No, I'm not an organization. I'm just a person. If you have to do an organization to see the VA.
I just want to give as much information.
Okay, no, I'm not no organization. Is she here?
Yeah, we want Tori.
Organization. No, this ain't no organization.
No, we're not an organization. We just the community. We want answers.
We parents. We grandmothers.
Brothers, sisters, cousins,
Victims.
sons, daughters, victims.
Police brutality. Think about your sister and your markers when we leave up our
What
house.
about you? Let me dye my hair the same color as you.
Ask her if she was at the racist house.
I gotta let it break down. So I'm gonna go back to the natural brown for a second.
Maybe all that.
Ever since these
That's not
books,
like
so
that.
people
It was already. And the first time I ever met him, and he was an organizer.
Yeah.
That's Serena's gonna sit down. Thank you. That's
What did she
Serena's.
say? What did she text you? She said she wanna meet with us. She wanna meet with us.
Well, we ain't protesting right now, so. What's up?
Oh, we waiting for.
No. I said, she sent her the text and said that she gonna meet with us.
But this is the office, so she can go back there, open up her nice little cabinet. Wait a minute, what you mean someone? We wanna talk to the lady with the plan.
I'm here, I'm
She told us to come here.
Yeah, I ain't want to.
She texted Dion. Dion showed you.
Let's make sure that we
Well, it's not on here either.
She ain't gonna give it to us today, she ain't gonna give it to us
We in her
today.
office.
I know, but she ain't gonna do it
I'm
today.
gonna tear up my room today.
She can't do nothing without my attorney. You can talk to her, but she can't do nothing without my attorney there.
Yeah, and then on the 31st.
We up
Good
here
morning,
with the
good
DA.
morning. Hi, I'm Tori Verber Salazar.
We up here, we're talking with the DA right now.
What can I do for you?
We were wondering if we could get that video of Colby Friday's killing by David Wells.
Right now we're talking and we're doing
I'm
that
working with
this
his family. and-
She's right there.
Yeah, I know, and we're working
Yeah.
together.
So the
and,
DA came in, I wanna see.
We're working together, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yes. So, I'll leave it at that.
Hello?
She wants the video.
Huh?
I mean,
Yes,
as a community, I mean, not just her, but I mean, just as a community as far as
then we ought to
transparency
come out
and
and
stuff.
then we'll, if you out there,
We'd
we'll
really
talk to
like
you
to see
then.
that video, just so
So,
we know
I'm
nothing's
trying to get
been
what she
hidden.
trying to say
I
right
understand what you're saying, but I'm working with the family. We're going to allow them access to see the video. It
To
is-
see
You
it?
don't know at this
It's a
time.
private matter, and after that, we'll make the decision on how we'll release it to the public. I have to
She's
respect.
talking right now.
She doesn't have a problem with the
So
video.
I'll be down when we can.
No, we talked yesterday, and she told me that she would like to see it in private, so that's different today. But our policy is we allow the family to see it in private, and then we make the decision as to what we'll release.
That's the policy.
So that's how we're
the
going
district
through.
attorney policy.
So that's why we're working together to
So
allow
the
them.
policy
So,
is
yeah, I
to
reached
let
out to
the-
her attorney, and we're going to be proceeding accordingly, and then after that, we'll make a determination as to what.
Because it might be too, it might be like too violent for the community to see, right?
There's a number of things, but I have to respect the family's wishes and their privacy. And would you like the video to be released?
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what would determine like what determines, you know, the fact, like, if it can be released to the public or not, like who decides what we're allowed to see as the public regarding that?
What we're doing right now is we're going to allow the family the opportunity to see this in private, to observe everything that we have in regards to this and ask questions of us. After that, as a group, we'll make a decision with their input as to what they would like to have released and what they would not like to have released. So, and then there's, of course, we'll be looking at the nature of the video and what is appropriate to be released and what is not. So,
Who will determine what's appropriate from what the public can see? You guys or the family?
the family, their legal representative, their attorney, and law enforcement in the district attorney's office.
Oh, so you will be releasing the video to the niece then?
As shows coming in, I'm just waiting to hear from her attorney. So, correct? We just had this conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else I can answer for you?
Anything else?
Yeah, so I guess the next phase on the situation is that the community want David Wells removed from the community as a peace officer.
That's through Stockton Police Department. Okay, so that is their agency. I'm not able to.
But as a
hire
district
an
attorney, but as a district attorney, it's your right to prosecute folks who the community feels have done a crime to the community. And if the community says that David Wells has done a crime to the community, then it's your right to prosecute them. If we say that they did a crime, I mean, the citizens can come together and citizen arrest David Wells. And would you be able to do this?
No, you have to be.
How will we be able to hold that officer accountable?
We don't do that because that would be the same as if this group decided they didn't like you today and then they said, let's arrest him for a crime. The crime has to occur in front of you. If it's a felony, it has to occur in front of you. The other thing is that law isn't based on public sway or public influence, or because otherwise wealthy, powerful people could influence decisions. We make our decisions based on two key factors. We look to the evidence that's provided to us and to the law. And if they marry, then we have enough or sufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, then that case proceeds forward.
Okay.
And that's what we do. It's a tremendous responsibility, but we take it very seriously. We evaluate each case independently. Otherwise,
So
if it was just because people were upset and decided to prosecute you, that wouldn't be fair. I would look at it independently and make that decision.
There's been officer-involved shootings where the officers actually murdered or killed someone, and there hasn't been an investigation on the incident, and are the cameras that the officers have on them, so that there wouldn't be any evidence of this officer committing a crime if his camera isn't on, right?
And we just started body cameras this past year, so there's not 20 years of body cameras in the background. We just started in 2016 to use body cameras, and not every agency in the county is fully up and operational.
Well, where can we go to hold officers accountable?
I appreciate it. It's a great question. You can file agreements with your local law enforcement agency and request an investigation, internal affairs investigation into those officers as to any incidents or conduct that occurred. You can bring awareness through community outreach like you're doing here.
They're not calling back because we filed some internal affairs complaints
Since 2010.
Officer pushing a kid off of the curb and then charging him for jaywalking. And he was a kid of color, and the two women of color that filed that complaint actually had to go back and file a second complaint regarding Officer Tony Tran, and both times Internal Affairs said they didn't get the complaint and they never returned the calls to the family of that person. And
if you provide me additional information to the name of the lady that filed the complaints and stuff, I'll follow up for you. I'll follow up for you.
So like all in a nutshell, like the district attorney basically has no power to help the people.
No, the
It
district
only
attorney.
has the power to help what is seen when it comes to what's on a piece of paper.
No, what happens in these cases is there has to be the evidence to support it. So if people,
So if it's something on a piece of paper, then the district attorney can do something about it. But if the people come to the district attorney and express something, the district attorney won't do nothing for the people. So
No,
that's basically
that's
That's
not-
all in a nutshell.
No, that's not true.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, well, I understand and I appreciate your opinion, but if you'll allow me to, and if you'll listen, be open to listening and not make conclusions without giving me an opportunity to respond, I really appreciate it. So what we're doing here, is that when law enforcement goes out, and this is what's key in this community, and this is a message that we have to get out. If you don't provide the information to law enforcement about what you saw, what you observed, or what you witnessed, we don't know. So a lot of people come to me and say, oh, you know, Mrs. Smith said X, Y, and Z. Well, we go in and talk to Mrs. Smith. She says, I refuse to talk to you. I'm not going to give you any information. We send out other people to try to mitigate that and have her talk to us. If she doesn't give us a statement, I can't rely on that. I can't take that into consideration. So there has to be that cooperation in order for us to get to the truth on every case across the board. It doesn't, you know what I mean, every case. We did 27,500 cases last year. All of those cases rely upon the community's involvement and participation in coming forward and being a witness, telling us what occurred, telling us the truth. We can't rely on multiple statements. I heard on the corner that somebody else said this, because that's not fair to the people in court, because people could be wrongfully accused in any case.
But the community can be involved in court, but like 90% of cases here are like through deals. Like there isn't witnesses that come to it. Like most of the cases here, people are taking deals. So where's the community being involved in this? When 90% of all the cases are just deals, people are just taking deals. Where's the community involvement in that?
And
so it doesn't sound like what you're saying is kind of accurate, because the community isn't being involved in this process because it's just nothing but deals.
No,
you're just giving people deals.
No, the people that come forward in those reports, every defendant has an opportunity to decide whether they want to take a plea or not. And that's based on their own personal decision. We don't have any say in that between them and their defense counsel. So what we do is we provide them with the information. They look at the totality of the circumstances and the totality of the information, and then that person makes an individual choice. Free and clear for me. I can't even speak to you after you've been charged. I can't have contact with you. You're represented by legal counsel. Once you invoke, I can no longer have any say. So that is a free and independent decision that each defendant makes. So pushing the blame on me is inappropriate and putting out false and fake news. So let's back up and stick to the facts and the truth, okay? I'm here to answer your questions. I've been respectful, but you're making conclusions that are not true and accurate. And at that point, I have to stop you and say, slow down. Let's get to the truth
because
of it.
this is what you're saying, but you're not saying it. So I'm basically just saying what you're basically not saying.
No,
Because you're like beating around what you're saying.
No, if you've ever familiar with the, why don't you come one day and spend the day with me and work with me? And I'll show you how the criminal justice system works. I'd love to have you. Because you know what, it's easy to make these conclusions because you only do get bits and pieces of the information. And for that, we need to be better. And we've had conversations about this. We need to be better at communicating, better at transparency. We admit that. I have no problem with that. But a lot of times, especially on e-media, people make conclusions without any support of it. And that gets hard for us because we're working hard to make sure that truth, transparency. You got to know, I'm not afraid to charge anybody. I work hard. I'm here 16 hours a day.
I hope you're not afraid to charge them.
But we have to do it based on the truth. I can't charge somebody and have an acquittal. That doesn't do anybody any good. And if you look across the United States, these cases are not winning. Okay, so before we take these cases, or any cases forward, we make sure we have a case that we believe we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Otherwise, we're not doing the right thing, and I refuse to do that. So you and I will talk after we're done here, and we'll set up a time. You can come spend a day and see what it's like in court.
Okay, Tori, I wanted to ask a question. When I was hearing you talking to me, what about the broadcast from the police call, the broadcast to the police? So,
Okay.
like even with Colby Friday, if the people do not see the video, we will be able to hear the calling in progress. So we will be able to hear that. Would the people be able to hear that? Even
The dispatch
with James,
call?
Even with James'
The
case.
dispatch. You have the dispatch call on James' case. Your attorney
Okay,
has it.
well, I need to go.
So and you know that there's a gag order that's has anything to do with you and I, but that your attorney and the other attorneys made, and you and I are prohibited from talking about it.
So when they put the gag order, that was the catch that wouldn't harm. They put a gag order, so that's why everybody putting me around the bush. Now
Now that was agreed upon by your representation. So there's no blame. I mean, there's and this isn't a blame thing. That's just standard procedure.
And then also I was hearing what you're saying, and you were saying that you just was telling him about the solution of talking, right? You can't just prosecute someone just by talking, right? No. It's like hearsay, right?
Yeah. It's
so
invisible.
I don't understand why is my son dead over hearsay. You know what I mean? You had all this, but my son, he's dead, so he can't speak what happened. So how's these officers murder my son, and his voice is silent, and no one even want to talk about it? You know, even at the city hall, everybody want to forget what happened in 2010. I don't think that's fair. you know, and then they marking us. I mean, we've been marked from your office, we've been marking from the city hall. Everybody that meet with us been marking us. You know, I was out there Friday and in the meet that they had for building trust in the community. I'm not a tourist. They locked the doors. They asked me my name. They went in there, told them my name, and then they didn't let me in. Aaron was lucky he didn't get up in the back. I tried to come around to the back. They locked all the doors and they bet me to the back. It's not fair. It's not fair. I don't know what's going on. I know it's a lot of money is being pushed around in Stockton to close a lot of the organizers and churches' mouth. And they need to step up now. They need to step up because we cannot move forward if the lie's been buried. It's time for the truth to catch up with the lie. It's been too much lying. It's been too much false pretend. It's time to really take accountable because we shouldn't even be here today. Like I tell people, I don't like be marching. We don't like to just be doing what we doing. But we have to do that. And if we didn't force our voice like we doing, they wouldn't even have these meetings today. You know what I mean? And it's sad that Chief Jones been in office since 2012. He got 23 murders under his belt. That's kind of high from if you go from 1990 to now. We done had Annie Johnson. Now we done had Anthony Silver. Now Michael Tubb. What passed for these three mayors did decide this mayor with a black face but with a white mentality to beat us? What we getting beat for? We putting we come in there with respect. We filling out the card, and this is what we get at the end of the day. I know it's on video. You can see the police yelled me in the back going down the stairs. Denise was sitting there in the seat like this, and her grandbaby was standing up, and they all said we throwing chairs. Denise sitting there looking like this. And they telling us to move. Elevator is not moving fast enough. So we had no choice, but they had to get escorted down the stairs. I didn't want to go down the stairs because I already know stairs is dangerous. You can just do one good push, somebody break a neck, all that. And if you see, I'm telling them, trying to be safe. That's why I'm live streaming as we going down. Because if some accident happened, they'll know that who did it. You know, and they keep saying community relation.
Yeah,
where do we start?
And her mentioning that it was folks who were arrested that day. And there was individuals here who actually had court today, and we just wanted to know what was going on with that process, and if these folks will be charged with anything, or if we can just find a way to brush this under the rug. How can we resolve this issue?
Well, they had court this morning, the 6 that were charged, and I know some were able to attend, some were not able to attend. So we'll look at the cases. If they want to, once they get legal counsel, I'm happy to meet with them. By law, I'm prohibited from speaking to them until they get legal counsel. So once they get legal counsel, have them come in. The door is always open. We're open to creative solutions, but you guys also have to take some responsibility for the problems that you're causing in these protests. You know, the rest of the community is very upset and wants more prosecution. You know what I mean? And we're not doing that. We're not, because that's why we don't listen. We have to. It's not that we don't listen. I don't want to rephrase that because that'll be used against me. But it's not that we're not listening. It's just that we don't make decisions based on what everybody's telling us. We make the decisions based on what the evidence is and what the law is, and that's it. If you break the law, there's evidence to prove it, I charge you. If there's not, it goes away. You know, and that's every case. We treat every case exactly the same. But once they get back into court, make their appearances, get their attorneys will reach out to me, and we'll be happy to sit down and discuss with them. But we have to figure out as a group, ladies and gentlemen, how we're going to do these protests, because you're also costing the economy a lot of money.
How much is it costing them?
Oh gosh, you saw how many law enforcement was out there that night.
That's the purpose of why we do these protests, though.
But I mean, you're bringing
is to put a dent into the economy, into capitalism,
why
because of the issues that's going on.
Okay, why is they spending all this money on a protest when we at the city hall? We are expecting our rights. We're talking about our loved ones.
I know, I'm there.
So
you see me.
Why did he call the police with riot gear? But I didn't let that scare me, because when I parked my car, I seen all the police. I didn't let that scare me. I knew I still had to go in.
Okay, so
so that was termination to me.
What do we want to? How do we want to handle it? Because we got to come to solutions, you guys. I mean, we can do this every week and have these meetings and stuff like that, but we have to move forward. we have to make changes,
We
and I
just-
want
we
to
don't
talk to
want
you about the
David
changes.
Wells.
I think.
Okay, but
I think
those are,
something
I mean, the things that I
realistically.
can control. And I can tell you what the changes that I am working on to change the entire officer-involved shooting protocol, the entire process across the street, across the
Are
board.
we gonna get a citizen review board?
So, well, I want to talk, I want to hear your opinion and your ideas. So I'd like to schedule a meeting. I think I sent you a text
Yeah,
saying,
you did.
I don't know if
I
I
did.
have, I only have a landline for you, Dave.
Yeah.
So can we,
Aaron.
Aaron, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Yeah, no,
Aaron.
that's fine.
And I apologize, send out I'd like to sit down in a setting and talk about what do you want
Yes, you did.
from this and what do you need, and then we can have that conversation.
Okay.
We're not here to fight each other. I work for you, I work for the people, and I want to live in a peaceful community, and I know you want to live in a peaceful community. So let's meet and talk about you, but bring solutions. Don't just tell me stories about the past, because that just becomes therapy. Okay, let's talk about, let's do
We have
solutions.
a list of solutions.
Perfect, I would love that.
Even
So-
when we met with Michael Tubb, he used us as a mockery. Then they turned around and took a selfie, a click of us, and then threw it to the media. What was that
Didn't even-
about?
I mean, all they had to do was ask.
You
for a
know,
picture.
actually, I would have shook your hand because I don't mind giving you a
No,
hug. I'm
yeah.
a peaceful person. I love people. I would have gave you a hug and a smile. But he was slick how he did it. And just like he was saying, I asked him for an independent investigation. He told me, what you want? Trump supporters here? I said, I've been fighting 7 years now. I don't care who it. We want some justice, and we want these officers charged for murdering our loved one. You know, I don't give a charge if you charge misdemeanor. They need to be started being charged. And that's when the relationship starting to build.
But what I'd like to do.
But also too, I mean, we need to be having investigations on them.
Mhm,
You know what I mean?
none.
Just like how when someone's murdered and there's no evidence, and you have crime scene people who come in and figure out how they got murdered and what
Right.
happened. We need to be using that money that people are using on these riots, that you guys are putting all this
Right.
money in these riot gears and putting it into these investigators to be doing actual criminal murdering work. You know what I mean? And like so that we can have that piece of paper that we can bring to you and say charge them. You know what I mean? But like.
And I'd like to,
There
to
is
explain to you
no
how the
avenue for
process
that.
works.
Yes.
I'd like, so during,
So
I'd like to have
protocols
like an
has to be
hour,
changed, right?
so I'd like you to hear how the process goes,
Yes.
what the changes that I'm looking forward to doing, and what you need as a community in order for you to have trust and faith in the community. So I need your help. I'm asking for your help, and that's why I invited you to come after the protest. I respect democracy. You've had multiple protests, and I've never charged it because I believe in the First Amendment and the protection of the First Amendment. It's when it crosses that line and we start seeing some, things that are not right, then I got to take a look at it and say, okay, now it's time. I've got to send it. It's bordering out of protest and into crime. So you got to watch that line.
Will we
okay?
be able to get
So-
those videos released of those protests? as
The
far as-
defense attorneys will get all of them. They'll get all the discovery, so they'll
then
get.
they could release them. Huh?
They can. That's up to them. That's it. You know what I mean. So that's up to them. But
Okay. So
so
this is all I want to say right here. No one broke a window. No one attacked anyone. That was all stage play over there. We didn't even know this individual or anything, the individual that they're concerned. Where is this individual at?
so
Why is he not charged?
Why is he not charged with anything? All these people were charged with a certain type of crime, but there was no crime committed. So I would like for you to re-investigate the situation.
I hear what you have to say, and I will continue to work. So can I go through Dion and Aaron to schedule an appointment to do an hour-long presentation? Because I'd like to do some PowerPoint so you understand how the process works, and then what are some of the changes we
But
want to
does
make.
it just
I'm gonna
involve
be there with
Dion and
y'all.
Aaron?
No, but can I
Yeah.
negotiate the time, the hour, through them? Is that okay?
1, 2, 3.
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
because we all going to sit
All right.
together.
Yeah, we want you
We all-
together.
No, but I meant all of you together, but I meant can I coordinate the time with just two instead of
yeah,
emailing
yeah,
everybody and
yeah,
texting everybody?
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Then going forward, I'll work with you two. I'll see you tonight at the city council meeting, and I'll work with you on setting up a time tonight, okay? And then you guys can come into the office, and we'll do a whole presentation. I have a room set up and that we can use, and we have a television screen, and we can do it there. And I want to hear from you. So spend the next few days until we can get this meeting. And I know you have some solutions, but I want you to look at other counties, other communities, see what they're doing, and then come to me with any ideas and solutions you have. I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate the respect that you showed me today. I appreciate the challenging questions, and I look forward to meeting with you in the next week or two.
I got a question. Is there a time frame that I could maybe possibly sit down with you to discuss evidence that I have regarding Colby Friday shooting?
Yes, and I will have, but I'll have you do as a district attorney investigator, we'll meet with you. So if you stay, give me your name. If you give me the information as attorney, you make me a witness. So I can't, and we've talked about this, you know, don't tell me, tell an officer, because it has to go through that chain.
Okay.
So I will, if you give me your phone number, if I could borrow a card and a pen, Linda, I'll write your phone number and I'll have an investigator reach out to you. Okay? Thank you for coming forward, I appreciate it. All right, and then I'll see you guys tonight, and then we'll figure out a time to meet. Maybe, do you have one of the business cards? And then I need you, I didn't meet you, I'm sorry, Tori.
Chris.
Chris, I need your contact. You want to call me and schedule the time?
Excuse me, I have a question.
Sure.